Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to Only Football. It's a show about football. Max Urbana and Michael Holder. How you doing, baby?
Kind of sad because there's no sports on until August.
So
I guess
you'll figure something
Olympics, right? But it's gonna be so different. I watch Olympics for swimming and track, and without fans, it's what am I watching? What am I going to be watching?
I don't really get into the Olympics. The one thing I will be watching is the 43-year-old man who is going to be weightlifting against women. That's the one thing I'm going to watch. I'm going to see how that goes.
Transgender? Or?
Yeah. He started transitioning when he was 35. So he was a full out man for 35 years of his life.
So what's the rule? How many years do you have to be?
I think you have to be transitioning for at least 5 or something like that. And he's been doing it for 8. And he didn't quite make it as a man, so he's going to go piss some women off who have been working their whole lives.
Does he dominate the other?
Oh, he's crushing he's New Zealand.
So
he's from New Zealand. He must be.
Okay.
He's been he's crushing New Zealand. It's it's really something. It's really something. Okay, guys, let's hop into some transfer talk, and it's more or less all about Arsenal today. In the last few days, the Cronkies really trying to, pacify their fans after another horrible season and trying to join the Super League. So they're potentially trying to shell out some money. Ben White, if not done, it's more or less wrapped up. 50 million. That's the thing. It's they're at this level where, United could be signing Varane for about 50 million euros. This is for 50 million pounds for Ben White. Because we can at least still attract the likes of Varane. They hadn't to pay.
Is that John Stones' money? 50?
Yeah. That was a few years ago. There's inflation things have changed. Neymar
maybe it's a discount.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? The thing is, it's not on Ben White. It's much like Harry Maguire. The guy he got overpaid for. He could be a solid signing.
Probably not.
Honestly, and then you go to the graveyard, the center back graveyard of Arsenal.
Rolling graveyard.
Yeah, grossly overpaid. But you know what? Elsewhere, they are looking at Locatelli.
I know you're looking at me.
Why are you laughing, Mike? What's going on with Locatelli? Which would be a great signing for Arsenal. Really pretty good signing for anyone, I would say.
Besides Juve, Arsenal's the only team that's made an offer for him, I believe. And they've actually put in 2 higher offers than what Juve wanted to pay. Juve wanted 30, I think. Arsenal put a 32 and a 34, and they're saying they're willing to match the 40, which Sassuolo was requesting. And Locatelli pretty much told his agent, "I would rather stay at Sassuolo than go to Arsenal."
Okay, yeah. That is basically what he said. When you read between the lines, that's what he said. But what he said was I would say I'd say it's Sassuolo. He didn't say rather than go to Arsenal. That's effectively what he's saying.
He would only leave Sassuolo for Juve.
Right on. Sassuolo had a great year last year. They're in Europe next year. You got to wonder too, how Sassuolo fares, especially if they lose Locatelli, getting stretched with Europe and stuff like that. But they have a good team, even without Locatelli. But yeah, it looks like Juve is the absolute front runner and should land
if we pay.
If you pay,
I don't understand.
It's 40 million.
Why are we arguing over a difference of 8 million? Just pay the 10 million.
Well,
get the deal done right away. Have them join camp early and not have to start camp with another team. And why do that?
Same with United. Same with United and Varane. Just get the fucking deal over the line, please. It's hilarious. Sancho is not even actually officially done yet, which is absurd. It's done, but it's still they haven't announced him.
Is he waiting until he announced? But I thought I don't know. On paper, if nothing happens from now on, he's a Man United player. That's what I.
Yes. But I feel like they're waiting to unveil him with Varane, do a double reveal. It's man, to get Varane out of the way. But back to Juve and that 8-10 million. 8 or 10 million is quite a significant fee when you're talking about 40 million being the price that needs to be met. Yes. It's 25%. So I understand that they're kind of haggling with that. That said, Locatelli is completely worth that money.
So just do it.
So just do it. Yes, I agree with you. But if you're haggling, it's not 8 million when you're up in the 70, 80.
Yes. Then it's a discount. Yeah. Right? But then it's I feel as though more if if the guy's 75 or 85 and you're willing to pay 75, just pay 85. 10 million is going to be 10 million no matter where the valuation is.
Yeah.
But
also,
yeah.
I'm sorry, they're also looking at Arsenal. That is James Maddison and Aouar from Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
I think both good signings. If again, I mean, if you're either of those
60
teams,
million
if you're either of those teams, or sorry, either of those players, why leave your current club? Maybe Aouar, because like you're in Ligue 1, you want a little more prestige and a high level of football, but you have Champions League with Lyon. No, you don't. You have Europa League. Still, you have Europe. I understand that. That I can actually understand. If you're James Maddison, like you had a great year again at Leicester, you bounced back. Leicester have been far and away better than Arsenal in the last 2 years. It's money. Like that's Arsenal that's like up in the contract, obviously, and that's how you'd get that. I understand, but Leicester are a better club than Arsenal.
Yeah, but he's also come off back-to-back seasons where he thought he'd be in Champions League, right? 2 heartbreak seasons in a row, and he's like, okay, like, is it ever going to happen with this team then? Like, should I try somewhere else?
They made some good signings. Patson Daka, excellent signing. Samari from Lille, a very good signing as well. There's depth in that team. I think they still need another center back to just pump the lines. Fofana looked great. Soyuncu had a great season as well. Johnny Evans solid as well. I think they just need Johnny Evans is obviously getting older. Get another CB in there. No rush, but that team is solid. And you know what? Depending on the rest of the transfer window goes, for me, it's Chelsea, Liverpool, City are locked in for top 4 next year.
Not Man United.
I have to see how the rest of the window goes. I really do. Varane's not done. You don't get another CDM in there.
You think Liverpool's going to be better than Man U?
Yes. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I need to see the rest of the windows go.
They need to get someone. They can't. You think they're going to run it back?
Run what? Like what?
Mane, Jota, and Salah. They're just going to run it back. They're not going to buy anyone.
They will. They'll get someone up there.
Who they link with?
Fuck, I did see someone for Liverpool.
They're getting rid of Minamino, I assume, right?
I would loan him. I wouldn't give up on him. I would loan him within the PL again, like they did with Southampton last year, and see what he can do. It might be a bust, but you know what, man? They got him at like $7 million.
Yeah,
they paid peanuts for him. It was a steal at the time. It's not panning out at the moment, but hey, we'll see what happens. And you know what? I think we're more or less done with the paper talk.
Yeah.
Speaking of busts and poor seasons, shite seasons, maybe getting over the hill. Today's feature, which we haven't done a feature in a very long time, we're doing the shite starting 11 from the past season. It doesn't necessarily only mean new transfers that didn't pan out, it's just people who underperformed. New transfers definitely, I think, adds a little bit to it. There's going to be a few of those in there for sure. So, yeah, let's get to it, Mike. We'll go back to front.
Yep.
We'll have a manager in there at the end as well.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. And do you want to kick us off with your keeper?
Sure.
Okay. And guys, if you're if you're listening, we got 2. If you we're gonna do back to front, as I said. Throw some names in there. Who's your least favorite or underperforming in each position in the top 5 leagues? Okay. For me, and I think for you, we do have a lot more PL players than anything. We do tend to watch that the most. But let's get into it, Mike. Pardon me. Start it up.
I'm going with Leno. Is that controversial?
No, it's not. It's actually someone that I kind of.
I thought you would like that pick. I'm like, oh no, but like that, it was a respectable bad year, and it's not even necessarily my decision's based kind of like 25% based on this. Is that I put it more on Arsenal because they got rid of Martinez, who ended up winning Keeper of the Year, or was it he was in the running for Keeper of the Year, and Leno. I think
Ederson might have gotten.
Yeah, just because of clean sheets.
He won Keeper of Copa.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
phenomenal year. Yeah,
and a Copa, right?
And the Copa, yeah, and Argentina's first since '93. Yeah, I feel that, and
so Leno, but he did have an underperforming season.
He has his
I know the team was overall bad, but they played these like all their losses were 1-0, 2-1. It's just like, and they're all preventable goals.
Oh well, I mean, let's think about some of his moments this year. Okay, so he had that red card against Wolves.
Yep.
Where he like tried to handle the ball for some reason. That own goal he let in against Richarlison against Everton, horrible.
They came in big moments too.
They were some big, absolutely. And you know what? Good pick. I like it. He's definitely got a few more. I think actually mine's going to be more controversial than this, and people are just going to jump on me for being a United fan on this one. But I'm going to say, and we'll add on some honorable mentions per position if we have any as well.
I do not have one for.
I have one other, and I'll get to after this. But my underperforming keeper is Allison.
Alisson?
Yep. Yeah. People are going to say, well, he got them top 4 with that header, which was a great header.
Automatically
I knew you'd say this. I
automatically out because without that goal, they're not in top 4.
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that.
Mike came up big.
That was horrible man marking. It was. And
he can't be a bust if he busted them out.
He scored a goal. I know. I'm going to cut you this, but Mike, think about. He had some shocking moments.
Oh, I know.
Twice against City.
Yep.
What are you doing? Leicester, where he just comes out. Same mistake for City. Against Leicester, when he just charges at Kabach and takes Kabach out, man. And it looked like they were going to win. Then Leicester just rolled to that match. And there were a couple others, man. It's Allison. He's a good keeper. Obviously, Leno made some great saves too. Allison, for his standard, big time underperformance.
It was,
and the header washes it all away.
It does though. Some goals do actually. Some not first of all, it's a goal for a goalkeeper. So yes, but it was a time on the goal. It was the last kick of the game, pretty much.
Yeah, it was. It was game over. It was game over.
He's automatically bailed out. But Lloris,
Joe says, ask about Lloris.
Yeah.
Was Lloris that bad? Except he crossed my mind because there's always times when people Lloris is. I don't remember Lloris shocking me like a Leno did or Allison.
He did have some bad. He did. I'm trying to remember the games now. He did have some bad.
Joe, help us out here. Some moments you got some.
One was against Man U. It was against a big team and a mid-table team, but I don't know. I kind of put that on Tottenham more than Lloris. So
that's your argument for Leno.
I could see Lloris could be a good candidate too because he also had if you think about Euros too, right? It wasn't really his fault, but I don't know. A good candidate though. A good candidate. But
my other honorable mention is Andre Onana of Ajax. And that's just because apparently he claims that he ate something or drank something that he shouldn't have back in late October, early November, and then he gets testing positive for some kind of performance enhancement from whatever it is that he ate. It just happens to be in whatever he ingested, and that was his excuse. But that didn't cut the mustard, and it was a year ban, I believe. So since January he's been out. I think he's still out until January of 2022. So. Great keeper. I love the guy. He was having a fine year, but do something like that. Just something to put that in there. Okay, I'll go first for right back.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to right back. Again, Joe, whoever else, get on in there if you'd like. For me, it's Sergio Dest at Barcelona.
Dest,
18 million pound signing. Youth player. Maybe part of it has to do with a little. I want the Americans to calm the fuck down. In terms of the youth they have coming up and that they're going to be really serious contenders in 2026 or maybe even 2022. Don't sweat it, Joe. But you know what? He was having a somewhat average season, and they needed someone to fill in at right back. They really did. And he looked to be the guy who would come in there. I know he's young, and he might need some time to adjust, but it was very average. And then as the season progressed, it seemed to get a little worse and worse. He got absolutely destroyed by Mbappe in the round of 16 in the Champions League. And I'm going to, and they're even talking about selling him already, but he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, they are at Arsenal because of Bellerin. That's what I heard. That's what I read today.
I mean, personally, I would actually hold on to Dest over Bellerin based on potential, but Barcelona seems to think that Bellerin would actually really fit there. I am just saying. Underperformance. And he basically got iced out of the team after that Mbappe performance. And they're willing to let him go. They're already willing to let him go. Sounds like a bust to me.
He wasn't that bad.
Sounds like a bust to me.
He wasn't that bad. He had one very bad game, and it happened to be one of the most important games of their season.
He wasn't performing up until then.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Who do you have?
I have Matt Doherty.
Good pick.
Because
good pick.
He was a signing. He was expected to just go right in there, and Ori had a better season.
Yeah,
Doherty wasn't even in the plans.
It's Doherty. Joe, am I right? Is it Doherty?
It's Doherty.
Tell me if it's Doherty.
Yeah, it is. I will admit that. But that's a signing bust. That's the definition of a signing bust so far. He has the chance to make it up now under a different coach.
It's Nuno too.
Oh,
yeah. So Nuno's coming back to Doherty.
Yeah.
And he might have a bit of a renaissance. But not because it was early that he was out of that team. Like it was like
November. It was like November. Yeah.
Early November.
Yeah.
I'm even willing to say like after.
No, he did like 2 months.
No, Mike. No, it was. I remember noticing that by like game 3 or 4 of the season.
He was 50?
15.
Well,
how much did they pay for him?
Yeah,
15.
Oh.
It was a good price.
Yeah,
they didn't pay 50 for him. High. Daniel Levy paying $50 million for Matt Doherty? I think not.
But yeah, that's my pick.
Okay.
I thought it was like he was the first player that came to mind, and I'm like, let me try and think of others, and just couldn't.
You didn't think of Sergio Dest?
No.
Sergio Dest has way more potential than Matt Doherty, and really fell flat at Barcelona. They did the whole Ajax. It's Doherty. Okay, all right. It's Doherty.
Doherty.
Thank you.
Doherty.
There's no Doc in there. Okay. Fuck me. Des, like they had that Ajax Barca connection.
I guess I know, but it was
so short.
There could have been.
And they're looking to sell him too.
Arnold would have been a better one, I think. I would have picked Arnold over Dest.
Absolutely, actually. He didn't cross
Arnold, right?
For sure. I totally fucked that. I think you did too.
Yeah,
actually, I think Arnold's number 1. Arnold has to be the number 1. I don't like.
Yeah, maybe actually.
That's. I don't think that's such a bad pick, but the fact that I just completely forgot about Arnold.
He's going to start next year, so if he starts off the season nice, he'll be fine.
100%. He'll be fine.
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yes, good call. How the fuck?
That's my Arnold.
Okay. All right, Mike, you're up. Center back.
This one definitely I don't think you're going to agree with, but it's Ake.
Okay.
I went that direction. I know once I got Ruben Neves, for sure he was. He was for sure never playing. But if they didn't get him, that's I think why they signed him originally. So I guess it's not his fault.
It's not. That's why. Like I see where you're coming from.
But the money they paid for him, man.
That's on City.
I know, but it makes it a bust. It makes it a bust for me. That's why I'm like, I don't think you're gonna like it, but
I see where you're coming from. I don't hate it, but I do disagree. That's absolutely not on him. And he couldn't get into that team. But he was adequate when he came in. He was playing in League Cup games. He was playing there when there was some I think Diaz was sick for a bit. He would come in. I don't think he really put a foot wrong. I don't think he looked bad when he came in. I'm going to defend Ake, but I take your pick. For me, first up is Victor Lindelof.
No, he had a good season. No. I knew you were going to pick him too. I knew it.
Victor Lindelof is a huge problem.
He didn't play that bad.
Victor Lindelof gets bitched in the air. He's not even that sure. He's slow. It's a terrible partnership for Maguire. Maguire actually really started to grow into the season as the season went on. His leadership was coming out a little bit more, which I really criticized him for heavily earlier on in the year. But Lindelof, good playing out from the back, has a nice long ball on him. Other than that, he's slow. He gets dominated in the air, utterly dominated. How many times he doesn't read on set pieces? He's absolutely nowhere. Low balls in, right across the face of him. Costas, he was probably at fault and was at fault for that goal that Villarreal scored in the final. And there were and John Stones scored a goal like that in the quarterfinals against us.
Lindelof he's not a bust.
It's not just a bust.
Sorry, I know.
Bust would just mean signings.
Yeah,
just mean signings. And center back, I have to say, was a toughie for me. Center back was tough, as was left back. He was terrible. He was pretty bad. He was pretty damn bad. And you will see if we get Varane. Again, I think I asked you last week. Name me a better partnership, Varane Maguire. Name me a better partnership.
Who's the better player between those two?
Varane.
Over Maguire?
Yeah, absolutely. Varane's world class.
So the question is, can Maguire keep up with Varane?
Varane has the pace. Maguire You saw what he can do with a solid defensive partnership in the Euros, for example.
Yeah.
He also looked great alongside Eric Bailly when Eric Bailly was in there. It changed the way we played.
Yeah, but Bailly didn't really look that good.
Bailly looked good for a chunk. December, January, Eric Bailly was really good. Yes, he was, man. That block, against Aston Villa.
That was a good block. That was a good block.
Because Ollie has his favorites, and you see it with McFred. It's a perfect example. And then he has it with Lindelof Maguire. But that's because Bailly's not leagues beyond or levels above Lindelof. Varane is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Lindelof had a pretty good season for what he was asked to do.
Yeah,
and they came second.
You didn't watch nothing.
And he played most of the games, right?
He played most of the games, and it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Second.
We came second. So what?
So now
what kind of bar are you setting? I don't want to hear that you came second shit. It's nonsense.
You got a free year out of him on decent services, and now
I can't have this argument. I can't have this argument about being content with finishing second, miles behind first. It wasn't a race. It was a race in January, and then it was done.
Yeah, but compared to the season, the prior season,
we came
third, but on the last day.
So what? Doesn't matter.
My next center back is Gerard Piqué.
I considered. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first one we agreed. Like we considered on, I guess. Yeah.
But you brought me around on. You brought me around. I liked Leno. I liked Doherty. I've liked your picks so far. You don't like
Piqué,
mine. You certainly don't
just
like
that last one. Piqué, like
you like Dest Island.
Barcelona, when they look at Piqué now after this season,
you like Allison Island. Because he scored a goal. You haven't really.
Oh yeah.
You haven't liked any of my picks.
But come on, I agree with you. But if he didn't score the goal, yes, for sure he's number one.
Yeah.
But he scored the goal, so he can no longer.
Vindication is easy for you, right?
He scored a goal in the 95th minute. A goal.
Mike could poke your girlfriend, and then you could fuck him in the ass and be like, all right, we're good.
Oh my goodness. You think you're funny, huh?
Sometimes.
Barcelona, when they look at Piqué now.
15 minutes, right, Mike?
When they look at Piqué in their plans, he is not there. So he even took a pay cut, right? To stay.
Yeah.
He took like a 50% pay cut.
Well, it's Lenglet, and then it's gonna be like what's his name?
Whatever.
But you know what? That's okay. Like that's okay for him. I agree with you. Like this was clear. Like he just dropped off.
Yeah.
Like he dropped off.
He's lost a step.
It doesn't. But if he's willing to take that pay cut and be
bench player,
that's fine.
Yeah,
but you're right. But you're
no longer in his plans. For no longer in his
big time plans. Yeah.
And I guess it'll be interesting how Barca kind of changes their defensive setup to accommodate for that loss.
All right, and who's the other one?
I mean, I did mine both center back. You've only done one center back.
Who's
Ake and Piqué?
Oh, you did Ake, yeah. Pardon me. Okay. Sorry. Yes, pardon me. Okay, my other one's Eric Dyer. It's crap. He's utter shit. Okay? And you know what? People thought that he was having a bit of renaissance under Mourinho at the beginning of the season. He duped so many people.
He did.
Come December, done. Back to the Eric Australopithecus Dyer that we all know. Just slow, error-ridden, doesn't know what's going on, mistakes everywhere. He pulled the wool over people's eyes for a month and a half, 2 months, and
you're just so happy because I remember talking to you like October, November, and I'm like, Eric Dyer is playing well, and you're like, just wait, and it happened. Yeah. So I'll give you props for it.
Eric Dyer couldn't even pull the wool over Gareth Southgate's eyes. And that's fucking saying something. All right? Actually, let's just go with Spurs for the entire 11. Yes, Joe. Yeah, we're I guess we're getting there, right?
Yeah.
Joe's got Lloris in there. You got Doherty. And Eric, the caveman Dyer. My goodness, man. Like he could Gareth South and he was getting called up to England in November.
Yeah.
He was getting there, and it's like, wow, it's Gareth Southgate actually. Because honestly, like, come naming the final team for England, I was like, I would not be surprised if Gareth Southgate picks this guy.
Yeah. No, not the way. No. No, he was never going to be. The way he ended the season, November, December, he's in Southgate's team for sure.
Yeah,
by the end of the season,
there was months. But honestly, okay. So I'll ask you this. Let's say Eric Dyer played as well or almost as well as he did until February, March, and then he drops off. Do you think Gareth Southgate would have taken him?
No, I would have taken Lingard over him.
Yeah, well, sure. Gareth Southgate just has weird loyalties as well.
It's a good pick, though. I don't mind it.
Yes, Joe, dude. Honestly, when Eric Dyer was rated as good, and an up and coming talent, and we were getting linked to him because Jose Mourinho had a hard on for him, I was terrified. I was shitting myself. I would have been so livid if we signed Eric Dyer, and that persisted for like close to 2 years. Us getting linked to that guy.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was bad. It was scary. Okay, I guess I'll go first for left back, and like you with PK, I struggle at left back, but like you with PK, I took Marcelo. And I just think that I did start with left back. Yeah. It was clear to me that he is starting to drop off and lose it now, and that Ferland Mendy should absolutely be the starting left back, and
Marcelo should be going back to Brazil.
And Marcelo could do something like that, hang around a year, maybe two, and get some cup games in there by cupping Copa del Rey or maybe group stage Champions League kind of thing, and just be a leader and see what you can do. Maybe turn back the clock every now and again, but he was done, and you could definitely see it especially when Zidane, I think, really made a big mistake in putting that 3-5-2 out there against Chelsea. That was a very bad mistake by Zidane. He did it twice in a row. I was like, what are you doing? And Marcelo just could not keep up. He could not keep up. So yeah, he's my left back.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I went to the Italian league.
Yes.
And I went with Kolarov.
Okay. Yeah. Same deal. But for me, Kolarov has been done.
He's had some good years at Roma and for Serba, right?
Serba. I'm drinking the gin, Mike. Oh no, sorry, you're drinking warm gin.
Yeah, but he was brought in to do more than what he did, and he did not even. He played 7 matches.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. I think the drop off for Kolarov has been happening the last couple of years. I think Marcelo for me was stark this season. Kolarov to me, even in Italy too. It's like
he had some good years with Roma.
Yeah. He was a good servant for them, absolutely, and he's absolutely done now. I just think that it was more gradual.
I had to go to the Italian league. I wanted to,
but we both started at left back. I think we were walking in, and I said that so did I.
I had to get some. I had to get at least 2 in.
Well, let's get into the midfield, and I believe I know who your other one is. So go, Michael.
I went with the 4-3-3.
Okay, I did 4-2-3-1.
Okay, is 4-3-3 fine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
start your CDM.
Pjanic.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was a swap for Artur, right? I don't know why. I think if he thought he wasn't going to play, he wouldn't have accepted the deal. But I think when the transfer happened, Pjanic thought he was going to play. Didn't play.
No, didn't play at all.
They got Pedri and said, okay, see you later.
Yeah. Pedri dropped back for them more. I thought Pedri was going to be more of a winger type, but he's really effective in the middle.
Messi plays there.
No, it's fine. And you saw it for Spain as well. He still did the job there. Pjanic is a decent pick. Don't mind it. He just didn't crack that team whatsoever. I mean, he's even getting room to go back to you.
I know, but I don't want that.
No, you can't. You can't go back and you can't go back and play like that. He's not past it, but there's no point.
Yeah,
there's no point. I think our tour has more of a future. Okay, so in my pivots, I've got Bentancur. Which
he's in my honorable mentions.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I wanted to put him in, but I'm like, I'll put him for the honorable mentions.
Real, Mike. I thought he was
lock. You thought it was a lock?
I thought he was a lock. Mike, the amount of stick you gave Bentancur all season was.
He was horrible.
He was really bad. You saw against Porto. You saw it
every game.
Just giving the ball away left, right, and center. Fuck, man. I think Atalanta was it Atalanta. I don't know. There was a number of instances this season, and I didn't come close to watching Juve as much as you did. But and I like him. I was trying to defend him because a couple years ago, he was prime. And
yeah, he was great.
I still think you're being harsh on him. Like
no,
like
there's so many times I'm like Max.
In a sense, I think you've given up on him. I
haven't given up on him, but he shouldn't be in our starting 11 to start the season.
That's fair.
That's how bad he's been.
Yes, yeah, he needs to work his way back in, but he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been there.
We got him for that, right? We can't sell him
for the rest of the season. Pirlo really kept putting him in there.
I know.
He rotates somewhat. There'd be times when he did get dropped. He'd be there the next game.
I know.
It's okay, finally Bentancur's dropped. Then he's starting again. He was really poor. So I'll go again, and to fill my pivot is Thiago.
Honorable mentions again.
Honorable mention for you as well. Yeah, okay. It was the pivot game too, right? That I was trying to fill in there because I was going with the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
I got a little top heavy. I think it's always.
I had them in, and then I took them out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I like him as a player. I thought he was a good sign for them, but it just doesn't quite suit that system. Even like there were times after the Bayern run where he didn't win a game at home at Anfield. I know there were no fans, but he didn't win a home match at Anfield. At least with him starting for 6 or 7 matches, it was insane. It was utterly insane. His distribution throughout the season. Throughout, and it just didn't work. He would slow that team down way too much. His passing was off. You saw it especially in the Euros when he played limitedly, just
very limitedly.
But when he did, it was noticeable how bad he's. Fred for me, Joe. Yeah.
Well, I think we both have a Man United player, midfielder in our bust.
So it's that's who it is.
And not for me, Fred, Joey, but I have
Fred.
He didn't have a bad season though. He didn't. He didn't.
Where I disagree with Joe here is that for me that's on Ollie. It shouldn't be Fred and McTominay. It should be Pogba and Fred. That's who, because we don't have a better I would love Camavinga in that pivot with Pogba, but based on who we have, it should be Fred and Pogba. All right, Fred's tenacious. He puts passes
you don't
wrong.
Want McTominay and Pogba?
I don't think defensively there's enough there. I think Fred is actually significantly better defensively than McTominay, and I don't think either of them are very good passers. McTominay's better than Fred, sure, but you take Donny and Pogba. I would love to test that, but again,
in a cup game,
but defensively, I don't think there's enough there. I just think that Donny needs to come in off the bench, but behind, but not in the 88th minute. Anyway, so that's my defense of Fred. I just think for now he's the best we have in terms of defensive midfielder, but it shouldn't be him and McTominay.
Yeah,
it just sucks the life out of our front four. Yeah, it sucks the life out of our front four, and that could also be the fact that Ollie's also terrified of leaving Maguire and Lindelof alone. So he overprotects them. If you bring in Varane, maybe I should seriously hope if he brings in Varane and they don't bring another CDM in, which would be a mistake. They bring in another. They do Pogba and Fred.
Okay.
That's what I could. That's all I could hope. Anyway, Mike, who do you got?
On my last one, that's midfield. I have Dele Alli. My last Tottenham player. Wow. You were like, honestly, I promise it's the last one.
No, you know what the thing is with Spurs for me? Yeah, man. I mean, it's been years though. That's why I didn't consider Ali because
I know
it's been 2.5 years.
He was forgotten on Tottenham.
Yeah, but he was bad before Mourinho got there. It's not like he was like a player that Mourinho, just fucking picked on. When
Mourinho first got there, Dele Alli was the best player. He was the best player.
Yeah.
And then he fell off
again. And he'd already fallen off. He'd already fallen off before that when Poch was there. And Poch loved him to bits. Poch brought him up. Mike, I don't mind pick. I just think it's been a long time. Remember, I was a few months ago, I got into an Insta argument about this guy saying that I was like, someone Transfer Market or something posted saying that biggest drop-offs in terms of value for a player, and Ali had dropped from 60 million to 30. I was like, excuse me, where are you getting this? This season, this was in March. I'm like, where are you getting 60 million currently for Dele Alli? He's not even worth the 30 million you just dropped him. And then this guy went off defending
Dele Alli.
He would have laid his life on the line for Dele Alli.
He wasn't good this year. He was horrible.
He was horrible. He was an Norby fan. I feel as though he was like he's been horrible in prior seasons, and that's why he's just not getting picked anymore. So like to me, like
I don't know.
That's why
I guess
I feel like he was shite, but he was a ghost. He was just forgotten. He's forgotten. He's just cut out of the team. You know.
At this point, Tottenham has to keep him, right? They can't sell him. He's gonna hope that you just play him at this point and see.
You know what? You got to do.
Then you banish him for good,
or
you sell him for nothing.
He has to do something like Lingard. Okay, he needs to move on to a middle, mid-table Europa League contender squad. That's what he needs to do, and Lingard needs to do that as well. Even if Lingard thinks that he wants to stay United,
he should go to Arsenal. Should you make the switch to Arsenal?
He loves playing at the Emirates, that's for sure. Okay. So I got the 4-2-3-1, Mike. You're next, 6 sheets. It's you again.
Okay. Which one should I start with? Okay, I'll save this one for last. I'm gonna start with Hazard. He's been a bust for 2 years, but like this year was even worse because I think he got like the same amount of injuries in less amount of time or something like that. Or
how many injuries have it? Like 18 injuries or something?
No, since he joined Real, I think around the Champions League point this year, I think he had played 10 games and had 8 injuries. Just almost on par.
Apparently they're offering him back to Chelsea.
Yeah, I know. But for how much?
Dude, it's gotta be like 30 million. You know? Like what is Chelsea's what's the
But
point?
He did it on himself because he came in overweight.
Yeah,
and then all the injuries started happening because he came in overweight.
Yep.
And you gotta blame I know it's 2 years, but you still gotta blame him, man. It's just like you can't like you're too good to be doing that.
Takes number 7 shit.
In his prime, he was so like fun to watch.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He was like you just watch it.
That prime was 2 years ago at Chelsea.
But the prime was for like 3-4 years.
Dude, he was still solid. He was still very solid at Chelsea when they sold him.
Like most people's primes are only like 3-4 years. Right?
100 million with 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Abramovich and Chelsea selling like that. It's great. It's amazing. That's competency. That's just being competent. All right. Chelsea's board is extremely, extremely competent, and I love it. I hate.
What if they get Haaland?
But I love it, dude. Like you pay that if you want to make that jump, go for it.
If they get Haaland, I think they can win the league. If they play well, I think you would have to put Werner in the wing. I don't know. They could do something.
Joe says, "Isn't Hazard supposed to be the worst trainer ever? Like in terms of like when he's practicing?
Practicing, yeah. Lazy. Mourinho said that.
Mourinho says that to a lot of people, but yeah.
Mourinho knows football.
He does.
It's weird.
He does. Yeah.
Sometimes when you hear him explain stuff like after the fact, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, but he challenges people in a way that some people just don't like, right? And it just rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't trust them again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on to me again.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of shoehorned him. You know, he's a bit of a floater, so I shoehorned him in on the right, and it's Isco. It's been coming along now for a bit, you know.
Yeah.
I would say a lesser case of Dele Alli, but he just looks like maybe even a slightly chubbier version of me.
Oh,
really? Yeah, Dad. He's just.
Would you take him in Man U?
What?
2 years ago, though, would you take him?
No, because it was happening 2 years ago. Like the decline was happening then, and this year, man, like just watching him. So I think Benzema was hurt against Atalanta, and he was there playing with a false 9 with Isco up top. And like honestly, Zidane made some questionable decisions in this Champions League for sure, and this is one of them. And like he is just at a loss. He's slow. His passing is off. There's no confidence at all. But like even when there's no confidence, like there's not even the determination to really try anything. Like he just looks like he's just flat,
through the motions,
just melting into the ground, and he needs to leave that team now. And they're gonna get fuck all for him because to me he is absolutely done.
They waited too late.
They did because it was always a thing. Like for years now, you know, even when he was good, he still wasn't exactly like breaking into like Zidane's team, for example. It was always that, you know, even when he was good.
Was it Rodriguez? Actually, no, Rodriguez didn't play.
So I don't really get it. They should let him go when they totally messed that up completely. So he's my right winger. Even though he's more on the left,
yeah.
I shoehorned him.
You shoehorned him, eh? So
I did.
So it's me.
Yeah.
So for
where are you right now? Because you're on the 4-3-3. Where are you?
I'm in the middle right now.
Okay, number 10. Yeah. Don't say Donnie. If you say Donnie, we'll smack you.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm the back of my jersey. Dybala. What? You don't like that? I have to pick someone for my team, and it's him. Out of all you,
you didn't have to pick anyone from your team.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have been Benton.
I know, but Dybala.
I mean, was Dybala really that bad himself, or was it a case of just not being used properly or enough?
He did get injured, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but he came back too early on purpose and injured himself again. And in the games he played before that, he didn't really do anything. Like, he got 2 goals in the Champions League game, but the goalie made a mistake, and the other one was like a tap-in. He was just a horrible. And that's why we look bad this year. That's why he came fourth. And it's sad to say that, but like, he is. Is
bringing Allegri back the answer?
He had his best years under Allegri.
Yeah, for sure.
So
he was amazing. He came from Palermo, right?
Yeah.
And he's incredible there. And then he hit the ground running with Allegri.
Oh, yeah.
I love him, actually. Like, I do. Like, he's one of those players that I wouldn't take in the Premier League. I don't think he suits in a lot of ways, but I think in Spain or Italy, I think he can do a great job. And I would love to see him get back to
I hope
top,
he does
top
this
form.
year.
I do.
That's the key to us.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, you set the bar high for him, which you should.
Dybala, man.
Yeah,
he
for me, I don't think
player.
This is for me my number. So I'm moving into my number 10 role. This is a really not glitzy one. I don't think you're actually really gonna agree with me.
I missed the midfielder.
I don't think
it's a DVD. But I should have said.
I should
have said it. I should have said it.
Okay. Sorry. So Mike's gonna go back. So yeah, you're 4-3-3 kind of.
Yeah.
Fucked
So
you
I
up.
thought I already said it.
I didn't think you did. That's why I was like,
him.
Okay, so I'm going to defend Donnie. Okay, so Mike got a midfielder. It's Donnie Van de Beek. And Willian was utter fucking garbage.
He's my
honestly.
He's in my honorable mention.
He's hilarious. Like, man, like, what is Arsenal doing? Like, when that's like, Arsenal fans are like, well, this is gonna blow up in our face.
It was free though, but like,
it doesn't matter.
I know
it was
a waste
of space. It's a waste of space on your bench. It's just a waste of space. And Mike, okay, Joe, anyone, Mike just sent me. You need to find this.
Oh yeah,
Mike sent me him in a friendly. You gotta go see the gut in this guy. This is William. He's always like lean, like in shape. Man,
he had an off season.
He had an off season.
That's
man.
what.
Like,
that's all it is.
You know, things opened up again. He has
actually a good belly. It's a good belly.
It's quite the belly. Okay, so Mike, you have Donnie Van de Beek, all right, and we all know why. But I got to defend him. It's not his fault.
It's Ollie's fault, right?
It's completely Ollie's fault. And when he did play, he looked good. He scores as a sub on his debut.
So is Ollie crazy?
Ollie
crazy?
Needs to sort things out. Okay, listen.
Is something wrong with Ollie?
Could be. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there.
Because what's he seeing?
Because that's a marquee signing. That's just it. That's a marquee signing that maybe he didn't want. He must have not wanted him. If you're going to stick with,
but you still have to play him.
You
still have to play him. So he must not. He must see something that we don't.
I know. But when he's played, he's looked for the most part pretty good. But it's so sporadic. Give him a run of games.
I feel as though if he's as good as people think he is, why wouldn't the players be rallying for him to play and be like, "Hey, coach, he's clearly better than this guy. Play him." Why, like?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
at that point, if you're at that level of soccer,
I mean,
and you can clearly see that this guy is much better than this guy, and the coach is consistently playing this guy.
McTominay every time. It kills me. He absolutely kills me. I don't understand it. I don't. There's something in training that must be amiss. I guess, but like when he's actually come on, he's looked pretty good. I mean, he was good against Wolves in the last match. I think he had a good performance against Everton in the League Cup. That is, scores on his debut as a sub. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And
he's
you know,
he's a bust.
He's a bust.
He's a bust.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Based off 1 year, for me, he's a bust.
All right. Okay. Yeah. He's a bust because Ollie's not playing him. Give him a run of matches. Give him a fucking run of matches, please. Yep. Like that's what certain players. If you don't give him that chance, same thing.
Is he going to get the chance this year?
He fell in love with Fred.
Is he going to get the chance this year?
It's like, do we have to get rid of Pogba for him to get the chance? You know what I mean? I don't want that either. But you don't need to do that. And that's the thing. It's like Donny could come in the number 10, as a sub. Like, give him, like, if Bruno's not performing, take Bruno off in the 70th. Give Donny 20 minutes.
And
Donny can come in on the right as well.
Making a tantrum coming off. Bruno's going to make a tantrum coming off.
Then you got to own that as a manager, right? That's fine.
If you're sit him.
Like, what the fuck?
For his reaction.
He can play off the left. He can play off the right. He can play in the pivot. No, Donny. He can play everywhere in the midfield. So, like, he should be a sub. Yeah. He should be a sub for at least 20 minutes every match. At least. And he should also get a run of starts as well. Kills me. You know, the thing is that Fred wasn't getting game time for, like, a good year when he first came in. And then Ollie gave him a run. And he was decent. You know, people will talk shit about Fred, and I understand. Like, he's quite frustrating at times. He's not the best. It's not what we need. But you know, he performs. Like, he does his job. And then he became a mainstay. You know?
He did, yeah.
But he doesn't necessarily completely deserve to keep that as well. You know, it's like Donny could potentially take that position. Okay, moving on. Okay, so back to my number 10, which, again, I don't think you're really going to like. I don't really think anyone's necessarily going to like it, but I'll tell you why. It's Alejandro Gomez. He had a really big bust up with Gasperini at Atalanta at the beginning of the season, and it kind of like it was such a shame because they had such a beautiful thing at Atalanta, and they still do, but Gomez was, I would say, the centerpiece of it. Yeah. You know, he was their captain for the longest time, and he was a Serie A beater. It was great, and then whatever the fuck happened in that change room,
we still don't know because he said once. Remember what happened? He got Gasperini suspended him 2 games, and he's like, "Oh, once I leave, you'll find out what the truth." We still haven't heard.
You know, so maybe he's respecting the club enough to not actually do that and just like, you know, just let that sleeping dog lie, which I respect. But you know what? That's a huge thing. That's a huge part for me. Is kind of, you know, ruining that. Atalanta still went on to have a great season, but you know, he wasn't part of it. Who the fuck knows what could have happened with him? And then he moves to Sevilla, which I was really excited about. I thought it was a great. Sevilla was having a good season at this point. They qualified out of their group stage Champions League, and I was excited for him to join Sevilla. And to me, he just didn't make the impact there. I don't think he was exactly terrible, but he was often left on the bench. He wasn't cracking in there. Even when he got onto the field, wasn't really taking his chances, wasn't really making his mark. And, you know, for example, Sevilla, going into the Dortmund tie, I really liked Sevilla to win that. And it was done after the first leg, you know.
It was.
And Gomez just wasn't there for it. So not a glitzy one, but there was definitely a story and there was an arc with Gomez. So
yeah, it was a roller coaster season.
Yeah, and it's really the Atalanta part that is just so disheartening.
So it's me, my last player.
I still have 2 left.
Okay, so you do one and then I'll do
okay.
One. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to go back to Donny.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the left wing for my 4-2-3-1 is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Hey!
I really, really had having a big year
top
for Arsenal.
Goal scorer.
Top goal scorer. Guy and I both had him for top goal scorer. That was dead after 3 weeks. You could see it. He was nowhere.
I was surprised when he was
getting dropped out of that team.
Oh,
he was getting dropped out of the team, but after many chances.
But Arsenal, like, for him to get like top goal scorer, Arsenal need to come fourth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like that's fair. It was a very bad pick on my side, on my part. But yeah, my God, like, just wasn't providing, wasn't creating, not taking his chances, huge misses. It was just a abhorrent season from him. And honestly, you know what? It was one of those that almost, like Arnold, almost went over my head. Like, I totally spaced on Arnold.
He was like my third son. He was like
so he's your striker.
Right?
So he's your striker.
Yeah, but I put Dybala in like the full send him as a winger.
Okay, gotcha. Right. Okay. All right, so we both had Aubameyang. That was the first player we both agreed on. Actually.
Yeah.
Or actually had in starting 11. Not necessarily didn't agree on, but had in starting 11. Okay. And to wrap it up, for me, still got to be. I feel for him. I feel like, you know,
harsh pick.
In a way, but a lot of people would be like yes. A lot of people would say no because of this and this, and it's Werner.
Werner.
Yeah,
he still was involved in a lot. They won a Champions League.
They won a Champions League.
No. Come on,
it's just.
He was involved in 25 goals.
Plenty of assists, drew plenty, and he drew enough penalties too. I know.
Was it 25 or 27 or something?
People were harsh on him. I do think
it was a bad. It wasn't a season they expected out of him, but they still did well with him.
I think people were extremely harsh. So you went with the false nine, Mike. Okay, let me. But man, the amount of sitters he missed, like bad misses, was shocking. Like you can't deny that, Mike. I know he provided, I know he created, but Mike, like come on, every week it was Werner with his head in his hands or like doing this, like he can't believe he did that, and no one else is even at this point shocked that he missed.
Question: if I told you. If you're a Chelsea fan, and I told you if you sign Werner, you win the Champions League, and you do it.
Yeah.
So is it?
I would sign Werner anyway. If I was a Chelsea fan,
no matter how he played the worst season ever, and they won a Champions League.
Mike, so you agree? He played the worst season ever.
No, not ever, but it was still
not
really
ever.
good. It was like,
but it was bad.
It wasn't bad. He was involved in like 25
but he played the worst
or 27.
season ever. What are you saying?
No, he did.
Mike, you're flip flopping all over the place. It's insane.
Werner,
like,
no.
You're muddling your words.
No,
man. Yeah, man. Mike, listen. If you said if you were a Chelsea fan last summer, and the Champions League thing wasn't even on the table to win last year, and you're like, you want to sign Werner? I'm like, yes, absolutely. And if he still had a season like this, I would still be happy with him. I know they're looking at Holland, but I think that there's obviously a player there. I think he's going to come good. I think he's going to, shake off those
He's only
nerves.
going to be better next season.
I agree. I think he's going to have a great year this season, next year. I really do. I'm going to stick by that. But I think the amount of bad misses he made, puts him as my striker. Name me. I have a question for you. Name me another striker who performed worse, like glaringly worse.
You don't
high profile.
You don't consider Aubameyang one?
I put him on the left because that's where he was mostly playing as well. I'm allowing. I would have allowed you to shoehorn him in there, in the number 9. But for the most part, he was off the left a lot near the end of the season.
Firmino.
Firmino was bad. Firmino was just dull. He was very dull.
I would put Firmino ahead of Werner.
He was very dull. Like he
lost his spot.
He seemed very inconsequential.
He's the guy now. He lost his spot. He came in as the heavy favorite, lost it 2 months.
Yeah.
Jota got hurt, so he started playing again.
He was very
Jota came back, started playing again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap it up, Mike. Who is your manager? It's gonna kill you to say it, isn't it? It's gonna kill you.
You know what? He's an honorable mention.
Okay, Mourinho's an honorable mention. Okay.
I couldn't do it, and it's not because I have a hard on for him. It's because they didn't give him. They didn't give him the cup final, and I think he could have won that.
That is gross.
And if he had won that, definitely not in yours, right?
Joe, yes, Phil Neville.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Lampard, it worked out for Chelsea, the ruthless style, but I still think it was a little harsh. They were struggling. I understand. Yeah, I still think it was a little harsh. Phil Neville, oh my God. So who is it? Who you got?
Ancelotti. Because
it's Everton.
They got nothing.
It's Everton. It's fucking Everton. What do you
expect? Got nothing.
I know. But what do you?
But they were leading the table
for the first 4 weeks.
But they were still up there, and then they were still near, and then they didn't do it. They didn't. They should have got something.
Yeah,
this is a horrible season. If you're an Everton fan, are you excited for this season? I'm not.
With Benitez?
With Benitez, yes. But after this season, you're like, we had a good. We thought we had it. Boom. No.
Yeah, but it was.
You had it and then you lost it. I know, but you had it and you lost it. That's the aspect of it.
Okay, when you mean it, you mean Europa League.
Yes. They're in the Continental.
I know.
Right?
I don't think they're in that. I think they're in that. I don't know. I don't know the fuck that bullshit league works. I really don't care. I know.
I'll probably watch the
final. You know why you're getting sucked into it? Because of gambling. That's why. You're going to get sucked into that fucking shit because of betting. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why.
But I watch the finals. I won't watch like the qualifying or whatever round group.
They came 10th, yeah. So they didn't make it.
I didn't think so. They were up there. they would drop, but they were still there. They dropped, they were still there, and then they dropped.
I do agree. I will take your point because it is like Everton's always struggling. They're always like trying to revamp themselves, putting tons of money.
But a coach like that shouldn't
Ancelotti, you actually
like
had
that.
the pedigree to at least hold on to Europa League. I take your point. It's an interesting pick. Joe agrees. It is an interesting one. I'm gonna go with someone who I still kind of defend. It's not Mourinho either. Actually, it's even though I was slating him like all year, Mikel Arteta. And I mean, there's enough in that team to barely get eighth place or whatever, eighth they got this year.
Yeah,
they got eighth, and they're in the Conference League, right?
They are. There's two
League.
Conference League teams, or just one?
Spurs, Europa. How does that?
I thought Spurs was continental or conference. Arsenal didn't get anything.
Arsenal got nothing.
Yeah, they got nothing.
And so 7th place is the Conference League?
Yeah, because
you don't even know what the name is. Just saying Conference League.
I don't know why.
So the 7th place has been eliminated out of Europa League for England.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Arsenal didn't make Europe. Europe nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
That's why they want to spend.
Right. No, it's good. It's good for them. They can focus on making Europa League next year. But yeah, even though I defend him, and I don't think he's really gotten the backing that he necessarily deserves in the last summer. You can say Thomas Partey was a great signing. I agree. I think Thomas Partey was a great signing. But he was injury prone. He was an honorable mention for me, by the way.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even though I do like him, but just not enough. And maybe he gets it this year. The thing is with him is that he just kept chopping and changing, and just switching up his formation and his cast. And I know like certain players weren't performing, but it was too much, man. There was no identity in that club. The only thing I would defend him against, Arsenal fans who were completely fed up with him and saying that he needs to get fired, is that give him another summer. Give him another summer and see if he can get some signs that he wants in and the backing that an Arsenal manager justifiably deserves, being the manager of Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I get it.
But he was frustrating. It was hilarious for me, but he was frustrating.
Well, it was. Yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan, yeah, it definitely was. It was funny seeing Arsenal fans' reactions this year because they're just like, I think it was the first year they kind of accepted they weren't a top club anymore. Yeah, like fully, every Arsenal fan.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. It was a long time coming. Okay, guys.
I have one more. I want to mention. Do you have any more?
Yeah. Okay, you go. Let me check.
It's just one more.
Okay.
It was the other side of the transfer. Arthur.
I thought, what? When you said Pjanic, I thought you were actually going to bring him in.
I'm like, I have to include both of them. That was a bad trade for both teams.
Yeah,
both teams got worse because of that trade, and now they're thinking of doing it back.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, what the? Really? I'm disappointed in my team. My team's in shambles. I still can't believe we got fourth.
Join the club, my friend. Okay, now, guys. Joe, thanks for chiming in. Always appreciated. Much obliged. And thanks for some of your names. William, great pick. Now, shamelessly tell your friends and family to like and subscribe. We're still at 15. It's been 2 weeks. Still 15. If you guys want to get on that Sears Cup, juice it up. Get some bots in there. I don't give a shit. Tell your friends and at Only Football Pod for Instagram. Thank you for joining the Shite starting 11 of the 2020.
You originally called it Bust 11, so that's why I was always thinking that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But it was Shite 11.
Yes. Okay. All right, guys. Till next week, we'll have another feature for you, and we're getting close to getting our Sears Cup picks out there. It's gonna be very soon.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks.
Cup around the corner.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Take care.